Hi guys! Wow, seeing myself in my own reflection is a little bit weird right now. So I am getting ready for Summer Sonic, which means I'm doing longevity makeup today. So things that inadvertently already happened. I primed, I did my foundation, I blocked out my eyebrows, which is the first time I've ever done that. Don't think I did too bad a job considering it's my first time. And I've also put on a white eyeshadow base to demarcate the shape that I'm gonna be using here. I tried using tape to create a clean, sharp edge like I normally would with something like this, but it didn't work because I had to do my foundation earlier than I normally would. My foundation had to be powdered, obviously, so I was baking to make sure that no fallout would get on my face from all the colors we're going to be using today. And then as soon as the Scotch tape stuck to the powder, it all just, the tape turned to paper. So we're going to be playing around with some color today. Lots and lots and lots of color. And the whole reason I blocked out my eyebrows was to give myself more lid space. A lot of you know that I tend to appeal to makeup wearers of the world with small eyes. And one of the ways that you can make your lid space a little bit bigger is by getting rid of your eyebrows and just giving yourself that much more space. But we are going to be playing with this beautiful thing. I got a Sugarpill Pro palette. I've been waiting for them to release something like this because their pressed shadows were like, I think $18 each, and I just couldn't be bothered with buying a crap ton of them, so I had like 2, and then they released Pro palettes, and I got a full one, so I can get tons and tons of shadows. But I'm thinking I'm gonna go with my husband's advice, start at purple in the middle and fade out into the orangey red on the sides. So, foundation's powdered, everything's based out, we're ready to roll. Because I didn't want to sit here and waste you guys' time figuring that out on camera because that would have taken forever. I'm going to start with Sugarpill's Poison Plum, and we're going to pat that on the center part here. Makeup artistry on the whole is just rolling with the punches a lot of the time, honestly. You know, because sometimes things aren't going to work the way you want them to. Sometimes your shadow isn't going to be as pigmented as you need it to be, and you're going to have to make it work. Sometimes it's going to be tough to blend. Sometimes your eyeshadow brush is going to pick up all of your base makeup for some reason, because, you know, it just feels like doing it that day. And remember, guys, remember what we say about avant-garde makeup here on this channel. What is our motto? I meant to do that. So, no matter what, no matter how bad things get, you can always just shrug and say, I meant to do that. This was one of the first Sugarpill shadows I ever tried, and after all of the hype that I had heard about Sugarpill, I was so excited to try them, and then I tried this one and it just wasn't as pigmented as I was expecting, and I was just like, wow, womp, what the fuck? I was not thrilled about that. But I wonder if it would still work if I set the rest of this with a white base. I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry, I was looking for Taco, the Sugarpill white eyeshadow, because I think what I'm gonna do for the rest of the eye is I'm gonna take like a foundation paddle brush and this white shadow, and I'm just gonna set this cream with the powder. I'm gonna have to do a little more work as time goes on. Oh yeah, base is already creasing. This is a good day. Because right now, you know, I'm learning as I go, and I'm sort of making discoveries as I go along, and I was discovering that the purple was blending really patchy. And it was because it's sticking to my thick coat of white base makeup. So I'm just gonna go ahead and set everything here. That way it doesn't move. Of course, I broke one of the rules of longevity makeup, and I didn't use eye primer. Because you see, okay, here's what happened, all right? Here's what happened. I was thoroughly expecting to be able to cover my brows without doing my entire foundation routine. And, well, that didn't happen. I mean, it just, like, by the time I had my brows completely covered, foundation was already on half my face anyway, so I was just like, you know what? Fuck it. But yeah, if you forget eye primer, don't panic, it happens to the best of us. Just set the living hell out of your eyeshadow base and kind of tap around on it and make sure there is nothing that is sticky or tacky on there. Because if there's anything that's even the least little bit tacky on your lids, it's gonna crease. Now we're gonna move into 2 a.m., which is this shadow right here. I believe that's what that's called. I might be fudging some of these names, so y'all are just gonna have to forgive me. But I'm gonna take 2 a.m. on the same brush that I had Poison Plum, and I think that's gonna help me a little bit here with blending. And we're just gonna work the edges. All right, I've got a lot of purple going on right now. So we're gonna take a break from purple for a little bit. But the shadow's got that iridescence to it that I just kind of really love. And we'll go back and build up the color and stuff in a second. But for now, we're gonna move into blue. And we're gonna move into Velocity, which is a beautiful color. It's a beautiful, true cobalt blue. It is everything I wanted it to be. And I'm thrilled with it. And we're gonna use a softer kind of blending style brush here on the inside because I'm trying to blend these two shades together to create a soft gradient from purple to blue. See that? Now I'm gonna take a little more of that blue and seriously work the inner corner and seriously work those edges. This is why I like filming my makeups, because I always tell people that makeup is sort of my therapy for my anxiety. It's kind of my coping mechanism when things get tough. But sometimes makeup can be a source of anxiety for me, just because, you know, I put so much pressure on myself to crank out perfection every single time. And that just isn't gonna happen all the time, you know? So I enjoy filming as part of my anxiety coping mechanism here, because when I get anxious about the makeup, I need something else that makes me feel like I'm in control. And filming helps with that. You know, it forces me to slow down because I have to explain everything that I'm doing. It is currently way too damn early to be alive. It's like 8:45 in the morning now, I think. Technically, I was supposed to be out the door ages ago, but that's all right. That's all right. So another thing when it comes to these sort of rainbow style looks is you're gonna have a nightmare on your hands when it comes to brush cleaning, because every single shade that you switch between should have its own brush. So you should have a brush for purple, a brush for blue, a brush for green, a brush for yellow. Everything should have its own brush, because otherwise everything's gonna get cross-contaminated and it's gonna look terrible. So I'm taking another brush and I'm gonna take Acidberry right here. And I hope these two blend into one another well. Please play nice with this blue here. This is gonna be the tough one to blend together, because you've got a very, very, very dark blue and a very, very light green. They seemed to blend together okay when I was doing this on my wrist. You guys saw my post on Instagram, if you follow me there. I was posting some late night color studies, aka the doodles I do on my wrist, because I don't have any face charts at the moment. I wish I did, but I do not, so I use the original face chart, which is my hand. And when you get to between the two colors, you're just kind of patting. Hell, you're patting for most of this because you're trying to deposit as much color as humanly possible. This next color is yellow, so we're gonna take Buttercupcake, which is that one right there, and take it on a slightly denser brush for this one because we're dealing with a lighter color. But Buttercupcake is not disappointing me right now. Of course, you know, I woke up this morning and I looked outside and it was raining. And I was like, okay, this is some bullshit because the weather report said no rain today. It said absolutely no rain on Saturday. And then I wake up and it's raining. And I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, for now I'm just blending this yellow in to the green. Are we seeing a pattern here? You're gonna be seeing a lot of the same shit happening over and over again. And I'm sorry for that, but when you're doing a prism style gradient, it's honestly just a lot of the same shit over and over and over again. You place color, you blend color, you place color, you blend color over and over until you want to die. And I didn't get the chance to get Sugarpill's orange shadow, which is Flame Point, because it was sold out by the time I actually formed my pro palette. So I'm gonna go into this baby. Ooh, a palette that I haven't really seen on YouTube at all. This is the Viseart Editorial Brights palette. Look at how pretty this is. And it's Viseart, and I'm so excited to use Viseart, whatever you want to call it, because it's supposed to be the Cadillac of eyeshadows. So I'm gonna dip into that bright, vibrant neon orange right there. And I'm gonna start a little bit further back from the yellow. And that's gonna be your key here. When you're blending in a super deep shade with a super light shade, you're gonna want the place where you want the most pigment to be further back from the seam of your color here. Because wherever you hit that brush to skin first is where the most color is going to be deposited. And you don't want that to be right at the start of the gradient because that is going to make things tougher to blend. I was supposed to get up at around 6 in the morning to start this makeup, but I didn't get to bed until 4. So yeah, that didn't happen at all. I was, you know, there's no excuse for it really. It was literally just, I stayed up too late watching the Olympics. But I'm just tapping between the seams of these colors because this is going to be a toughie to gradient here. You're really going to have to sort of work for it and earn that gradient. Earn those sweet, sweet gradients. I think this festival, the tickets are something like $170 a person, which is redonkulously expensive. Like, holy shit. But, you know, it's important to invest in yourself sometimes. It's a quote from me. So now I'm gonna take my orange brush again. Where'd my orange brush go? And I'm gonna do the other side. Go figure. Like, see this cool gradient we got going on here right now? I'm feeling it. So we're gonna be doing the ultimate test with these eyeshadows today. The ultimate longevity test, because nothing is a more insane test of an eyeshadow's longevity or a foundation's longevity or anything else's longevity than wearing it to an outdoor music festival. Because you're dealing with everything. You're dealing with heat, you're dealing with humidity, you're dealing with sweat, you're dealing with water sometimes if it rains, you're dealing with all kinds of shit. So, you know, you're gonna put this particular product or these products that you're using through their paces. Grabbing my next brush here, whatever that's gonna be, because I'm rapidly running out of eyeshadow brushes. You're gonna take, well, no, you know what? I've got a bigger one. Because I got these Viseart palettes during a sale, and they came with brushes. And this is an Esom brush in G29. So I'm going to take this G29 brush and Love Plus. Love Plus. Oh, I was on the fence about buying this eyeshadow for years. Literally years. I held off for a long time, especially after she started releasing the Sugarpill Pro palettes at makeup shows and such. I decided to wait because I was like, you know, those palettes blew the fuck up. The minute someone used one on social media, it was like, oh my god, what is that? Where'd you get it? Where can I buy one? You know, everybody was talking about them. So I knew. I was like, just sit back. It's only a matter of time before Sugarpill and Amy Shrinkle over at Sugarpill makes the decision to sell those retail. And sure enough, she did. Wonder what I'm gonna do for contour. If anything. I'm probably not gonna do anything for contour. I'm just gonna leave it as it is, you know. Why mess with a good thing? And for those of you who are new here, hi, hello, I'm a burlesque performer, and Faith Grenade is my stage name. And that just sort of turned into a brand for me, as it were. Cool. Cool. This is working out, guys. This is working out. I'm glad I could take you on this journey with me. Blending is one of the most important things to learn when learning to do makeup, but it's also one of the more time-consuming things to learn. It's extremely difficult, and it's something that you really, you know, there's no shortcut to it. You just have to sit down and work on it and practice and practice and practice. And looks like this are perfect for somebody who's looking to really work on their blending skills. Placing and blending and placing and blending. That's been this entire video. So if you're just joining us again, hey, welcome back. We've been blending this entire time. I've seen all kinds of festival makeups all over the place on YouTube. And some of them are just so creative and super fun. But some, I mean, a lot of them kind of toe the line when it comes to like cultural appropriation and stuff like that. You know, you see a lot of tribal imagery and, you know, a lot of people using things like bindis and things that are actually elements of other cultures. And no matter where you are in the debate on cultural appropriation, I'm not going to get into that. It was just like some of the stuff, a lot of it was okay. Like a lot of it was, you know, fairly benign, or it would use sort of visual inspiration from other cultures. But some of it just towed the line just a little bit too much for me. So I was like, let me offer an alternative. You know, let me offer something that doesn't quite toe that line so badly, but that's still fun and that still allows my viewers to practice their techniques, because that's ultimately what I want you guys to be able to do. I want you to be able to use my videos as a guide to practice your makeup application techniques. So we're moving in now that I've kind of established my initial gradient here. What I'm doing is I'm going back between the colors and I'm strengthening the pigment of each one to sort of, you know, intensify everything and bring it all together. And then I'm going to go back in one last time and blend my ass off. Because I always tell people who are like aspiring makeup artists and stuff like that, I'm like, you are your portfolio initially. Like when you have no one and you have nothing to work on the way I do, like I work on other people while I'm here, but I am not going to get nearly as many clients here as I would in the States. So when I go out, I am my own advertising billboard. Whenever I go out and I'm wearing makeup, You know, I try to do it just as well as I would on a client because this is my portfolio, you know? A lot of people will find my Facebook page, MUA Facebook page, and they will see my work there. But honestly, a lot of the clients that I've gotten so far since being here have all been because they saw me out in public, you know, wearing makeup, and they were like, wow, your makeup looks awesome. And I would say, thanks, I'm a makeup artist. And they're like, oh, dude, you do that? And I'm like, yeah, I do that. And they're like, oh, cool. You know, I need a makeup artist for this event or that event or whatever. And I'm like, hey, I can do that. Cool, let's talk. And then they talk, and then they book me. And now I'm gonna go back into my OG shadow brush to the purples, and we're gonna build them up until we get some damn pigment. Know what I mean? Because we're looking a little patchy in the purple category. And I'm just working that gradient even more. And you know, I'm kind of raising where my eyebrows would be, and I'm looking at those lines in between the purple and the blue. Even though they're not gonna be visible a lot of the time, they will be visible to some people some of the time. So I'm just making sure that everything is nice and seamless. This is the only thing I had. This was the idea, and it came together, and there it is. I could probably outline this in black if I wanted to, but I'm not that worried about it, honestly. You know, I think I'm gonna let this speak for itself and sort of kind of softly fade out into my skin. I think that looks cool too. And as for liner, lashes, and mascara and stuff like that, I'm probably gonna throw some mascara on and maybe even some false lashes just to sort of balance everything out, because right now everything's very bold and very heavy. So I feel like my eyes are disappearing into the back of my head, and I certainly don't want that to happen. I'm gonna do that, dust off the bake, get my skin where I want it to be, and then I'm gonna put on some lips for you guys. That should be fun. All right, you guys, here is the finished look. I know, not a whole lot really changed when you think about it, but the little elements that I added really made me feel a lot better, and it made me feel like this was a lot more kind of brought together, if that makes sense. I'm just gonna go over really quickly what I used, just to fill you guys in. I didn't film any of it just because, like, time. This video is already going to be like a million years long, and it doesn't need to be any longer. Foundation was already on, and it's the same thing I always use. It's Atomic Cosmetics Spackle Foundation, ride or die for show. When it comes to liner and lashes, I used my usual CoverGirl Supersizer mascara. I used some NYC black liquid liner. Didn't do a wing or anything. I just wanted to cover up the lash band. And the lashes are actually Ardell 120s and 105s stacked together. I tried just using 120s on their own, but they just weren't enough. Like, it needs volume, especially when you've got this kind of big moment going on here. You know, your lashes need to be pretty big to make sure that your eyes are still prominent and that they don't just sink back into your face. I couldn't really think of any lip that would suit this look better than a black one, and this black lip is of course Jeffree Star Cosmetics Weirdo. Until I find a different black lip, this is gonna be the one for me. I don't feel the need to apologize for it. It's the best black lipstick on the market. We're gonna be putting this makeup through its paces. Is it going to last through rain, through sweat, through heat, through humidity, you know, through crowds and stuff? We're gonna test all of that. But first, let's do some awkward posing. Awkward posing. Looking down, looking forward, looking fierce. And of course, I'm gonna be taking you guys with me all the way, at least to the extent that I can. I'm not sure what the rules are at Summer Sonic for cameras and things like that, but I'm gonna try and take you guys with me. I'm thrilled with how this came out. I'm thrilled with how the brow cover went. It's cracking a little bit on the top of one of my eyebrows, but that's because I use my eyebrows too much, guys. I'm expressive, I can't help it. I'm gonna do my best. to take you guys with me. So yeah, let's go do that. Whee! Everyone, it's me, and I am back from Summer Sonic. Now, the bad news is they didn't allow cameras in the venue, so I couldn't film anything. But I still have a little bit of a check-in for you guys, just to show you how this makeup did, because, you know, in my freelance work, I pride myself on my makeups lasting between 9 and 13 hours. And that's under normal circumstances. Now this was Summer Sonic. This was an outdoor music festival, so I had to deal with heat, humidity, water, sweat, any possible thing you could handle in a makeup, I handled it today. And this makeup got put through its paces. And as you can see, it's really not that bad. I mean, this little edge here, that came from my sunglasses, so I could very easily adjust for that and touch it up if I needed to go out again. My lips are obviously jacked, but in their defense, I did rub them together on the way home. Hi, darling. I did rub them together on the way home. My foundation looks fucked, but it's only because I removed basically the entirety of this area, just because it was feeling really like greasy and heavy because I was sweating so much. So that was my own fault. If I had left it alone, it probably would be just fine by now. So there you go. You know, honestly, if I had to go out again, very minimal touch-up. It would maybe take me about 10-15 minutes and I would be totally ready to go back out again, fresh as a daisy. So if you've ever had your doubts that my makeups last a long time, this is 15 hours of wear time. There's a little bit of creasing, but I mean that can be blended like super fast. But all in all, considering I've had this on for 15 hours, not bad. So I hope you guys found this video useful. This wasn't the video that I originally intended it to be. I thought it was gonna be like this big longevity test and I was gonna give you all these tips about how to make your makeup last longer, but you know, I ended up doing a bunch of experimenting with this particular look. Things didn't turn out in the format quite the way I planned it, but I'm not mad at it because this look is pretty cool. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, informative, or entertaining. If you did, there's a button for that. Spank that like button in the butt. You know it deserves it. And if you want to see more from me, subscribe and become a member of the faithful today. I put out new videos every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me today, and I will see you in the next video. Toodles!